I'm always inspired by our Hall of Fame inductees and what they've accomplished in the name of our great organization. They represent the best of the Y, volunteers and staff, from YMCA's large and small, who made a conscious decision to stretch their limits, to empower the Y to reach more people and do more good, to refine what we're capable of as an organization, locally, nationally, even globally. This afternoon, I want to talk to you about following their lead. I want to talk to you about what we're capable of as an organization today and going forward. Or more accurately, once again, challenging ourselves to redefine what we're capable of as an organization, to think bigger, to dream bigger. You know, I've worked for the Y for 37 years. Started as a youth program director and kept going. I'm an old-timer. But I've only been president and CEO of the YMCA of the USA for about 18 months. So in that respect, I'm the new guy. I like that. After 37 years, it's nice to be the new guy again. But as a new guy, I realize that many of you may not know much about me or what I'm all about. So I want to take this opportunity to share a few things. First of all, I am a big believer in the power of the Y to change the lives for better. I'm living proof. When I walked into the Christian Street YMCA in South Philly as a 10-year-old to participate in an after-school program, the chances that I would be standing here today talking to all of you as president and CEO of the YMCA of the USA were non-existent. Zero. I'm here because of the Y and the caring adults the Y put in my life. My story is not unique. Every day across this country, YMCAs put caring adults into children's lives. When you do that, you change the arc of a child's life for the better. And when you change the arc of a child's life, you can change the arc of our communities and the arc of our nation. At the Y, we care for 9 million children every year. Every year. When it comes to helping kids and helping our country, very few, if any, organizations can do what we do. I firmly believe that. Another thing about me, I'm convinced that if our nation is to solve the great social challenges it faces, the Y has to be part of the solution. We have to be part of the solution. But I know that we can't do it alone. The Y has a long, esteemed history of innovation and social impact. Many of these ideas came from within our organization. Think of English as a second language, or night school, or basketball, and group swim lessons. But a number of these ideas, like the USO, or the Diabetes Prevention Program, to cite a recent example, grew out of partnerships. We need to continue to innovate. That's part of who we are. It's in our DNA. But we also need to partner with great ideas, big and small. In your community, on a national level, and with our global partners. Keep your eyes open for people and organizations who share the Y's vision for strengthening community, who want to make a difference, and who have a plan to get it done. Think of how much faster their ideas could be put to work if the Y was by their side. That's my approach. Because with 2,700 locations and a presence in 10,000 communities nationwide, we have the delivery structure, the credibility, and the trust to take great ideas to scale and magnify their impact. One last thing about me you need to know. I dream big. I once dreamed about playing in the NBA, lighting up Madison Square Garden and the Boston Garden. Yep, that's me. Short shorts and all during my playing days at Temple. I dreamed of playing in the NBA until the summer of 1975. That's when I tried guarding Lloyd Free in the Philadelphia Summer League. You may know him as World B. Free. He was an NBA All-Star and played in the league for more than a decade. He had a 44-inch vertical jump. Mine was like 14 inches from a running start. Needless to say, it didn't go well, and the experience set me on a different path, shall we say. But where the why is concerned, I still dream big. And I'm asking you to dream big with me. Bigger than you've ever dreamed before. Because for all the reasons I've just mentioned, and many, many more, there is no other organization in this country can dream the dreams that we can dream. So if you ever place limits on what you think you can accomplish personally, or what we can accomplish together as an organization, I'm asking you to remove those limits right here, right now. You are part of the why. Your potential is limitless. Our potential is limitless. I'm telling you all this for a few reasons. And believe me, it's not because I enjoy talking about myself. You can ask my wife that for sure. First, because I want you to know where I'm coming from. I think you deserve to know what drives the person who's leading your national office. I take the responsibility that comes with this role at YUSA very seriously. Second, because I want you to understand how your national office views our movement and the communities we serve, the nation we serve, even the world we serve. I am blessed to work with a group of talented, dedicated, and passionate people at YUSA who also believe in the power of the why to change lives, in innovating, in partnering with great ideas, and in dreaming big. This is how we're working on your behalf. I want you to know that. Third and final reason, because as a movement, we're planning something big. And if we're going to accomplish what we set out to do, we are all going to have to pitch in, every last one of us, for a better us. As you may know, at YUSA, we're about halfway through a 4-year strategic plan that will carry us through 2017. It's called Delivering Our Cause. And this plan is following 2 other multi-year plans that were designed to strengthen our capacity as a movement. To develop each of those plans, YUSA involved you in the planning. We made a conscious effort to reach out to staff and volunteers at Ys across the country and ask you what you think the national office should direct its energy and resources. That's because we wanted our plans to not only set priorities for YUSA, but also to reflect the shared intent of our movement. And working together, we've been successful. Brand revitalization, signature programs, the nationwide campaign, these were all goals in our strategic plans. They were all things you asked your national office to do, and you provided the resources necessary to make them happen. For our current plan, we talked to more than 1,700 of you, staff and volunteers from Ys of all sizes from all over the country. There was consensus around tackling certain social issues as a movement, and a shared belief that doing so will position the Y to issue a promise to our country in 2018, to make a measurable contribution to solving a pressing social issue in youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And that's what we're going to do. We're calling this promise our commitment to America. This will be the first for the Y, which is not to say we haven't made measurable contributions to solving social issues in the past. We certainly have. But never have we made a public promise, all YMCAs as a national movement, working together to move the needle on a specific issue. So, what will the issue be? What are we going to solve? That's going to be determined by all of us. We're going to have a movement-wide conversation to find out what's in our hearts. Our nation faces many challenges, the solution for which would benefit greatly from the Y's help. But what are the pressing issues? What are we most passionate about? Where do we think we can make the greatest difference? We're going to ask ourselves those questions and many more. In fact, we've already started. At YUSA's booth, here at General Assembly, we offered an opportunity for you to shape this movement-wide conversation. I hope a lot of you stopped by and took our survey. If not, don't worry. There will be plenty more opportunities as we move forward. We want and need as many ideas as we can get. I don't know where this is going to lead exactly, though I have some ideas. After all, kids are the future of our movement and our country. But I can tell you that I am excited for the journey. I do know this: we're not going to play it safe. Daniel Burnham, the famous architect and urban planner, said, "Make no small plans. They have no magic to stir men's blood. Make big plans. Aim high in hope and work." We will make no small plans. We can't afford to. There's too much at stake. We're going to make big plans. We're going to aim high in hope and work, just as our Hall of Fame inductees did. As staff and volunteers in the Y today, we are stewards of a peerless legacy, and we have a great opportunity to add to it, to make our own mark, and to raise the bar for the Y leaders who follow us. We are standing at the doorstep of a historic moment for our movement. I am honored and proud to be a part of it. I hope you are too. Are you? Are you? All right. So how can we put ourselves in the best position to deliver on the commitment we make? It's a critical question, a complex one, but I think the answers are fairly simple. First, engage more people in our cause. Engage more people in our cause. Second, take the next steps on the journey we began 6 years ago when we relaunched the Y brand, a journey that has unified our movement like never before and helped more people understand that we are a cause-driven charity. I'll come back to that in a little bit. Let's start by talking about engaging more people in our cause. We already engage a lot of people, 22 million members, 600,000 volunteers, 250 staff, countless partners, donors, and other supporters. And let's not forget about our friends at YMCAs in 119 countries around the world. That's a lot of people, a lot of people. Then again, there are nearly 325 million people in this country alone, so we have some room to grow. Talk about a big goal. But think about it. We are seeking broad-scale impact. That's what will be required to move the needle on a serious issue. And the more people we engage, the better our chances of success. When I think about engaging more people in our cause, the first thing that comes to mind is our organizational commitment to diversity and inclusion. Ensuring access, inclusion, and engagement for all. We are stronger when we are inclusive, and our doors are open to everyone. And the wider our doors are open, the more people who are likely to come in. This is the for all of our mission. This is for a better us. As a movement, we are on a journey towards full inclusion. We're all not moving at the same pace, and that's to be expected. That's okay. But we have to keep moving because our communities are changing rapidly across all dimensions of diversity. We need to respond with effective and inclusive policies, practices, and strategies if our organization is to remain relevant and vital now and in the future. Also, we should keep in mind that full inclusion must include those who may not be comfortable with all of the changes taking place around them. We cannot be exclusive in our inclusion efforts. We cannot be exclusive in our inclusion efforts. All people need to feel safe and welcome at the Y. We have a history of bringing people together from all walks of life and creating safe spaces for dialogue. In an increasingly polarized country where intolerance and exclusion seems to be gaining too much ground, this is as important as it has ever been, as we've learned tragically in Dallas, in Orlando, in Ferguson, in Baton Rouge, and in St. Paul, and too many other communities. No matter where your YMCA is on its inclusion journey, YUSA is here to support you. We will meet you where you are and help you move forward, because your progress is essential to our movement's progress, and our movement's progress is essential to our nation's progress. It always has been. Of course, at the Y, opening our doors wide and making sure everyone feels welcome and safe is only the beginning. Once people join us, we want to help them live their best lives. We want to give them every opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive. We want them to have a transformative experience. We make this possible in many ways, including programs and services that fill gaps in people's lives and gaps in our society. We know the playing field in our country today is not level. The single greatest predictor of whether a person will grow up to be happy, healthy, and successful is the circumstances into which you are born. If you are born into a family that is stable financially, and you live in a community that's safe and well-resourced, your chances are pretty good. But if you're born into a family that struggles financially, and you live in a community that is unsafe and lacks resources, you are much more likely to end up sick or undereducated or disconnected from opportunity. And gaps go much deeper and wider than socioeconomic circumstances. Race and ethnicity, age, gender, and gender identity, physical or mental ability, sexual orientation, faith. Think of any characteristic that helps define a person or a group of people. Opportunities can be limited due to that characteristic. And that's where the Y steps in. We make connections, we remove barriers, we build bridges. My predecessor, Neil Nichol, likes to say that at the Y, it doesn't matter to us where you're from. We're interested in where you want to go. This is so true. The Y is an agent of social equity. We give everyone a chance to succeed. This is who we are, it's who we've always been, and is reflected in so much of the work we want to do. You know, one of the greatest joys of my job is traveling, and I do travel a lot, around the country, even around the world, to witness firsthand the many ways in which many different Ys remove barriers and fill gaps. I've seen participants in the YMCA Diabetes Prevention Program who have lacked access to healthy foods and recreational activities, or simply have struggled to adopt and maintain a healthy lifestyle and develop prediabetes as a result. I've seen them reclaim their health and their lives thanks to the caring and expert guidance they received from our staff and the supportive community they found at the Y. I've seen young kids whose neighborhoods don't have pools or beachfronts or other safe aquatic environments where they can learn to swim. I've seen them get the access and instruction they need at the Y to develop life-saving and life-changing water skills through swim lessons and the Safety Around Water program. I've seen immigrants to our country, entire families, arrive at the YMCA with no idea of what their next step will or should be, with no knowledge of how to begin integrating into such a large and culturally diverse country. And I've seen them get the support and resources they need to get settled and begin contributing back to their new community, a community that have received support from the Y, so the community is prepared to receive and welcome its newest neighbors, so it is united and cohesive. There are countless other examples, of course. Many of you right now are probably thinking of an example at your YMCA. This is what we do. We remove barriers, we provide access, and we fill gaps. And in the process, we bring people to the Y who otherwise might not have a reason or opportunity to come. We also attract like-minded donors and partners who want to support these positive outcomes and who see in the Y an organization with the size and the capacity and the credibility to create change on a large scale. That's why we've been able to partner with organizations like Welcome America, the American Medical Association, and government organizations like the CDC. That's why we've been able to secure large, difference-making donations that are helping us provide access and remove barriers. $57 million from a single donor through YUSA's Strategic Initiative Fund for camp scholarships and camp capital projects, scholarships for swim lessons, support for scaling the Achievement Gap programs, support for the new American Welcome Centers I just talked about, and much, much more. $12 million from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. You saw the CEO speaking at the association assemblies to form a partnership to advance a culture of health nationwide, a focus on health equity in early childhood and community integrated health. More than $7 million from the Wallace Foundation, the Power Scholars, the Achievement Gap program that targets kids in under-resourced communities and is designed to mitigate summer learning loss. $5 million from the JPB Foundation to scale Healthy Weight and Your Child, our new childhood obesity intervention program. This foundation also previously provided critical funding to scale the YMCA Diabetes Prevention Program. And just last month, from the S.D. Bechtel Jr. Foundation, $20 million to renew and strengthen our emphasis on character development across the movement. And scale an approach focused on how adults can support building character in youth. These are just a few examples, but add them up, and I know somebody had a calculator, I know you were counting them, $100 million worth of investments. $100 million worth of investments. $100 million from people who believe in us and what we stand for, from people who want to engage in our cause. You know, they say money isn't everything, but $100 million, you can do a lot of good with $100 million, and we are. We are. And we're not done, and neither are our partners. There's more to come, much more. I can promise you that. I can also promise you that these numbers don't happen by accident. Yes, they're the result of the essential work that you do every day and determined fundraising efforts. But they're also the result of more people hearing about and understanding your work. Hearing and understanding the why story, thanks to our nationwide campaign and everything you have done to activate it locally. This is so critical to the campaign's continued success. Our 2 national TV commercials, Places and Idle Hands, and of course, Zoe, who you met yesterday, right? The digital and social marketing activations, all of it is designed to create more opportunities locally for you to engage more people in our cause. Donors primarily, but also members, volunteers, and partners. Thank you, and thank you for all that you have done to bring this campaign to life and invite more people to support our work. Please, please keep up the great work. We're only 6 months into what we expect to be a 3-year advertising and positioning campaign. The early results are very promising in terms of raising awareness about our charitable mission and cause, changing incorrect perceptions about the why, and moving people to make a donation. But we have much more to accomplish for better communities, for a better country, for a better us. Of course, membership must have a prominent place in any conversation about engaging more people in our cause. After all, it is the primary way we engage people in our cause, and every YMCA does it. But we need to rethink how we do it. More to the point, we need to broaden our thinking, because in our haste to define people as full facility members, or program members, or participants, or friends of the Y, or some other classification altogether, something has been lost. We must revitalize membership in the Y. To move forward, we need to move away from membership as a transaction that grants access to a facility. and get back to membership as a way for people who believe in the why and want what we stand for to come together for the common good. Membership in the why is not about paying a fee. It's about joining our cause. No matter how a person connects to the why, we need to make sure they understand they're part of something special, part of not just an organization, but a cause, part of a movement that is determined to help people fulfill their potential and determined to strengthen communities, our country, and the world around us. That's what we want membership to be. Earlier this year, we held the Membership Summit in Dallas. It marked the first time in at least a decade that a national why meeting was devoted solely to membership. And 650 of your colleagues were in attendance. It was the kickoff of a movement-wide conversation about how best to revitalize membership in the Y. At the summit, I announced that YUSA is devoting the resources necessary to create tools, systems, and processes to facilitate and scale national YMCA membership reciprocity by January of 2018. And I just want to add, in a survey that we were doing here, 95% of the people here agree with that. 95% of you folks said, I agree with that. So that a membership to one Y becomes a membership to all Ys. This is an idea whose time has come. In fact, it's long overdue. Consider that more than 75% of YMCAs are already participating reciprocity at the state or regional level. We just need to go the rest of the way. If we are going to revitalize membership, a good place to start is making membership easier and more accessible all across the movement. Our cause of strengthening community is nationwide, and our membership practices and policies should be too. We need to remove obstacles that for far too long we have put in front of people who want to be a part of our organization. And reciprocity is just the start. There's much more work to be done to come up with a new and cause-driven way to do membership in the Y, and we're going to figure it out together. As I mentioned earlier, I've worked for the Y for 37 years, and in my opinion, our movement is more unified today than it has ever been. During my time here, the revitalization of the Y brand has brought us together in new and meaningful ways and set us on a course to maximize our potential, to improve lives and advance the common good, and we've seized the opportunity. By committing to a common cause and grounding it in mission, and changing the way we present ourselves and talk about our impact, we are shifting perceptions about the Y and positioning ourselves to make this commitment to America in 2018. So what's the next step on this journey? The next step is to look at how we work together and determine if we can turn our greater unity into greater effectiveness on behalf of our communities and our country. Determine if our commitment to America can be bolder and our chances for success could be greater. If we found new and better ways of working together across our organization, we owe it to ourselves to find out. That's what we've heard from so many of you. And that's why YUSA is leading our movement through a process to discover how we can maximize our impact locally and nationally, starting with an assessment of our current approach to standards and quality, of our federated operating structure, and of our potential regional and national partnerships that can strengthen our collective ability as a movement to deliver our mission and cause. This assessment will be led by a task force of 30 of your peers representing Ys of all sizes and from all parts of the country. They're just getting started, and there will be plenty of opportunities for you to offer input. For now, I just want to say a word or two about our federated structure, because I can really feel the nervousness in the room. I can feel it. It's coming up here, I'm getting the chills from it. Our federated structure and the autonomy it grants to all of you to identify local challenges and develop solutions is a true asset for our movement. And let me be perfectly clear, as one of our former presidents said, perfectly clear, we're not talking about replacing our federated model. That's not on the table. There's too much value in the flexibility of YMCAs to respond to local challenges with local solutions. The question is whether there are things we can be doing within our federated structure that would better position us to make an impact in our country and allow us to set our aspirations higher. So we're going to have a collaborative discussion as a movement. And at the end, we'll decide whether we have some ideas worth pursuing. As I said, we owe it to ourselves to find out. I'd like to close my remarks with a bit of history. In April 1961, many of you weren't even born then, but I was 7 years old. You can do the math. In April 1961, just 4 months after he took office, President John F. Kennedy stood before Congress and said, "This nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." A little more than a year later, construction of NASA Space Center already was underway in Houston. And President Kennedy used the occasion to deliver one of his most famous speeches to explain why space exploration was so important to our country and why it was something we had to do. He said,
"We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win."
The term moonshot is pretty popular these days, commonly used to refer to an audacious or even borderline unrealistic goal. Well, this was the original moonshot, the actual moonshot. Tragically, as we know, President Kennedy would not live to see our country win this challenge, as he put it. But win it we did. When Apollo 11 landed on the moon in July of 1969, and Neil Armstrong took the giant leap for mankind. In issuing his challenge, the president asserted that landing on the moon was something our country should do because we could do it, because we had the resources, the determination, and the expertise to do it, because we had the capacity to do it, and because there was so much to be gained from doing it. Sound familiar? It's time for our moonshot, folks. It's time for the Y to stand up and stand out and be bold. It's time for us to commit to meeting a great challenge confronting our nation. It's time for us to make a mark that will recall the great accomplishments of our movement. We have what it takes. We have the resources, the determination, the expertise, the capacity. We just need to do it. We need to continue working to engage more people in our cause by moving toward full access, inclusion, and engagement consistent with our For All mission, and by redefining and reinvigorating what it means to be a member of the Y. We need to determine where there are more effective and more efficient ways for us to work together across our organization. We need to decide what we are more passionate about, and we believe we can make the greatest impact, the impact our country needs us to make. And then we need to do it together, all of us, and we will. We will make big plans, we will dream big dreams, and we will make them happen. This is what the Y does. It's what we've always done. I'm excited to get started. I hope you are too. Thank you.